Welcome to the YouTube channel of Cure My Diabetes, where we talk about health and wellness and how to live longer and live without disease. So today I want to talk about all the research I've been doing, which talks about the packaged food industry and packaged food being so harmful for us. And we hear that, but I'm going to show you four examples of why it is harmful. So right now I'm in US. I'm visiting USA. You could say the home of packaged food and processed food. So it's a great place for me to make this video for you. So as you know, we all say, processed food is bad, fresh food is good. But sometimes it's hard to explain why. And maybe I want to also talk not just why, but also about misleading, because that is a key thing about the food industry. So the first one that I've got, let me start with this. Cereals. So a lot of my reading has been around cereals and how cereals was one of the first places where the fattening of kids started. And as the American companies have come to India, they brought cereals to India as well. So this is called Mom's Best Cereals. Now this looks like it's a healthy brand. They market themselves as a healthy brand, Mom's Best. And naturally flavored, how the best days begins, gluten-free, no synthetic colors, no artificial flavors, and made with real cocoa. So everything a mother would think, this is great. So if we look at the nutrition label, you've got 14 grams of sugar. Now the serving size is 32 grams. So 32 grams has 14 grams of sugar. And so this is about 1/3 sugar. And this is a cereal that markets itself as a healthy. Now compare that with a can of Coke. 100 ml of Coke has 11 grams of sugar. So this thing has almost 3 times as much sugar as Coke. And yet it's marketed for kids. It's got the little llama here. It's got nice cartoon characters. And this is what's just very challenging as a parent and as an adult as well. So continuing on with sugar, here's another thing. So this is a generic brand, but in USA I would say most of the brands, and I would say in India it's the same thing because we follow them and we are very price conscious. So this has tomato concentrate and high fructose corn syrup and corn syrup. So now the thing is, all these things add up. So you've had sugar in the morning with your cereal maybe, and now you're adding ketchup, and you think it's ketchup, you think it's tomatoes, but it has high fructose corn syrup, which is a bad guy in the food industry or in the nutrition space. High fructose corn syrup is considered really bad. So now you've added this, and also not just in ketchup, but a lot of sauces, they also have high fructose corn syrup. So I'm not sure if Subway is the same thing in India. I've seen Subway people load up on the sauces. But if it's got a sweet flavor, it's probably coming from high fructose corn syrup. Now I haven't checked Subway sauces, but I can assure you that in the fast food industry, this is it. As a matter of fact, they say for McDonald's, there are only 7 items that don't have high fructose corn syrup in them. So going on with that and the thing of McDonald's, here is bread. Now, you'll find this more and more in fast food industry, and you won't believe it, right? But bread has sugar, and sometimes it has high fructose corn syrup. Now, this is a kind of a more organic whole wheat bread. I don't know if you can read the label, whole wheat bread. And in this, if I read, it also has dextrose, it has sugar, and it has wheat gluten. And so a lot of us obviously are getting gluten intolerance because they add stuff. And it has molasses and canola oil. And I just don't know, if I were to make this at home, would I need to add sugar and dextrose and stuff. But I can assure you, if you're getting bread from a fast food joint, it's going to have so much more. Here is something I used to eat as a college student, Nature Valley. And they have a nice green packaging, orange, and a lot of times bars which market themselves as a healthier bar. Also, if you read, it has corn syrup. So another place where it has corn syrup, it has palm kernel oil, and different oils, vegetable glycerin, so fructose. So again, if we talk about obesity, and you think you're buying something good, but you end up buying something not so good. So just want to share some tidbits of information. We looked at cereal, which is a big thing, sauces like ketchup, even healthy bars, you got to check them, and even breads have added sugar. And all of these things, when you go throughout the day, from your breakfast to your lunch to a 4 o'clock snack to your dinner, if you're buying packaged foods, you're getting a lot of artificial things added to it that you wouldn't add at home. So especially when it comes to sugar, and when it comes to the type of oils that they use, which you don't even know what they're having. So now I want to just kind of shift gear. I've spoken about sugar, and I want to talk to you about oil. So this is a nice brand, Kettle brand potato chips. They look more high end, and they charge more. And in India also we have similar things. And it has sunflower and or canola oil, and it has safflower oil, and then a lot of these things, like, they have different oils. So here we have, for example, canola oil and palm oil. And so what's really something to think about, as I do this study on longevity science is really kind of different than obesity. Longevity looks at you living longer and without disease, okay? Living longer and also without disease. And so what I found very interesting is that these longevity guys, they don't just look at sugar. They're like, sugar is the carbohydrate, and you can burn your carbohydrate out. You can work out a lot, and you can burn out your carbohydrates. But now what about the oils? So apparently you don't burn off oil like you burn off sugar. Oil stays and becomes part of your body. So your cell membranes, all the cells in your body, the membrane of the cell is made with oil, and even your DNA has a membrane around it that affects the gene expression. So we talk about gene expression, and you might have genes that say you're bound to have diabetes, but if they're switched off, then you won't have it. Or you might have healthy parents, but then you eat something bad and you switch on these genes that bring about all kinds of diseases. So I love this expression. He said, you are not just what you eat. You are not just what you eat, but you are also what you ate. So when you talk about eating all these foods, even with the healthy brands, one of the key things to watch out for is what kind of oil are they using. One of the speakers, he's the #1 iPod speaker, podcaster on health, and he says even in California, with some really high-end restaurants, they serve olive oil, but that'll be cut with palm oil. And that's just a way to cut costs. So I hope you've got some clarity about sugar, and please do read the ingredients. It's everywhere. I've even heard in India that certain honey brands are added with high fructose corn syrup because it's a fraction of the cost. And then about oil, and why you might eat something that doesn't have a lot of sugar. If you search, you'll find cereals without sugar, but it does have oil. And what type of oil is it that you're eating? Because oil will affect you at a genetic level and will be far longer to remove. Hopefully you found this video interesting. If you like what I'm trying to do here around health, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you.